This morning we're starting inside the kitchen at Knight Cottage Farm, and we're looking at tomatoes that were taken in green from the vine just after we actually had a little bit of a freezy, frosty thing, and then I brought them in. I let some go a little bit later through a second freeze, and they definitely didn't make it. If they come in green after a hard freeze, they have to be cooked right away. They won't ripen, but these came in green early, and now they're red, and these are yellow, and this is a variety called Sunchalata that was new to me this year. It was a bit of a pricey seed, and I thought, well, I wonder why. It sounded like it had a great description, and these are a little bit smaller than the ones that came in I'm trying to put this in front of the camera, the ones that came in on the vine during the season. But this is a group of tomatoes that was planted in July, and they had a good stand of green tomatoes when the cold came in. So by pulling them, we've been able to extend the tomato season. We are going to have tomatoes at Christmas. This is the Sunday before Christmas. It's December 20th, and when you have tomatoes that come in green and then color up in the house, they are typically not the best throw in your mouth, eat, or salad tomato. They make a much better cooking tomato, but they add a lot of color and they add a lot of moisture and vitamin C to meals that you can cook all winter long. With the yellow and the red ones, I will be going ahead and putting them in roasts the way I would put potatoes and onions around a piece of meat. I'll throw them in soups and stews and anything that's a crock pot recipe they'll go into. But these Sunchalatas were really exceptional because they taste good even after they've greened up in the house. So I'm looking forward to trying them again next year. And I have to go back and check whether they were an heirloom or not. It would be wonderful if we could save seeds from them. So the other thing that goes on at Christmas time here is a lot of presents and canning and making teas, and the table is pretty loaded up with cans and jars and oils, and so as that process continues over the next couple of days, we finally got all that had to be made and shipped off to the families in parts north, and now we're going to be doing Christmas packages of jams and jellies, and we did a lot of infused oils, and they're in the bags, and we're doing some scented satchels of wax myrtle leaves so that people can put them in their drawers and ward off insects. So we're giving everybody a sort of a from the farm Christmas and putting those gifts together now for our friends and our coworkers. So as that goes on, I'll go ahead and maybe do a little more filming to show you the kinds of things that can come out of a garden even when you have a really crummy year regarding production. We had very few tomatoes, we had very few peppers, we had a decent squash production this year, but we have a very strong squash. We had literally no cucumbers. So having a bumpy start this spring and trying a second batch of cool season crops may have set us back a little further than I would try again. I think it might be smarter if you have a bad fall and cool season crop just to jump right into the warm season stuff so you can maximize that. And not knowing that, we had a very minimal crop this year, but we have pecans from last year, and we had fantastic herb growth, so the perennial things did beautifully. And so we've taken some of those things and made what we could to give as gifts, and I will do a second episode here in a little bit and show you what those things are. So that's all for now from the Knight Cottage Farm kitchen. See the sweet potato? That is one of last year's sweet potatoes that I have tucked into, excuse me, let me go ahead and I'll pull this up. I have tucked into a jar of water, and it's developed roots, and it's sitting on the stove this fall because the stove has a pilot light and the sweet potato likes it nice and warm, and by spring, late spring, I'll be taking cuttings off of that vine, and that's what I will go ahead and root my potatoes for next year from. That really is all for now from Knight Cottage Farm.